Any physically healthy clairvoyant could easily eradicate all life on planet Earth, and the military power of the enlightened masters is obviously much more elevated and sophisticated. Due to this video that you are watching right now and the others that have been made available to the public, it is eventually for the first time possible for humankind to understand what life in the universe is all about. The videos are also an attempt to try to help scientists verify the findings of Thomas Gurner Larsen. Why are clairvoyants and spiritual masters not intercepting this work and stop it completely before everybody knows how ugly the broader perspective is? Well, Thomas G. Larsen has two suggestions, as he currently does not fully understand this. Either the masters and their good friends explicitly want everybody to know at this specific point in time that the solar system is a prison environment and cruel production facility. Or the life of Thomas G. Larsen just happens to be a statistically very unlikely event that just happened anyway. The solar system and similar prison and torture environments offer the most primitive living conditions of all places in the universe, and within these primitive provinces or neighborhoods you are essentially allowed to become whatever you have the ability to become. The solar system and similar places function as brutal spiritual master production facilities, and the last step in this fabrication process is traditionally called a religion or something to that effect. The New Age movement is an example of that. From the perspective of the enlightened masters, they almost always get what they want, so if you live in a very religious region of the world and somehow happen to be strong enough to embrace a life that differs significantly from what the average Jane or Joe does on a day-to-day basis, then you are allowed to do that. Galaxies and solar systems are constructed in order to enrich the community of masters. Otherwise, galaxies and solar systems wouldn't have existed at all. On an infinite timeline, the spiritual masters will construct an infinite amount of these concentration camps in order to become indefinitely rich. It would be counterproductive if the masters were to manically and feverishly monitor and police the activities in all these places. So, that's exactly what they are not doing. To reiterate, as a person you have complete freedom to do with your life whatever you want to within this primitive and dangerous environment that humankind calls its home. An important side note is that when certain religions put an emphasis on living a humble and beautiful life, it is just a production technicality. A healthy amount of people is from time to time deliberately being vacuum cleaned into religions by clairvoyants and spiritual masters, and here the victims are being exposed to different types of evil social engineering, indoctrination and programming in order for their energy system to become more fluid and easier to manipulate on a practical level. Enlightened masters love to play with energy, and they just see humans as dumb energy that they can form and shape like clay without risking to bump into any repercussions later on. It is normally only a tiny percentage of the religious devotees that ends up becoming clairvoyants or masters. The rest have wasted their life, except if they enjoyed being religious for whatever reason. But many of them will naively tell the next generation about the importance of the religious lifestyle, despite the fact that they don't know what a religion is. One of the main effects of a religious lifestyle is that it has a tendency to threaten the personal integrity of people, in particular if they are impoverished. Individuals with a bad personal integrity have a tendency to become psychologically toxic and develop sociopathic and criminal tendencies. That way, a country like India has for a number of generations been one of the worst places in the world to get born.